so peaceful tonight. Everyone's probably fast asleep by now. We might have all spent our time apart in different ways, all with different things on our minds. But now we're finally back together as a class. It wasn't easy getting this far, but we have one less thing to worry about now. And I owe it all to Elisa's support and encouragement. It's thanks to her that I've been able to make it this far. Hang in there, Elise. I'll bring you and Princess Elfin back safely. I promise. And when I do, I'll be sure to thank you again for giving me all I needed to come as far as I have. We still have to sit down and discuss what we're going to do from here on out, too. Can we even figure something like that out by tomorrow? We've got to bring at least some ideas to the table, but what? I'm happy we're together again, but we've got a lot to decide about our future. And it's something we need to decide as a team. Everyone's had their own challenges to face and problems to conquer, but each of them faced what they were given head-on. We ended up apart, but no one lost hope. Instead, everyone tried to make the best out of the circumstances they were dealt. Thinking back on our reunions, I think the one who left the strongest impression was... Hey everybody, welcome back to more Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 2. I'm SlayerMathis, and last time, we reunited with the last of our classmates, that being Eustace, and we even reunited with our instructor, Sarah Valentine. This time, we'll be going through, and we'll have a free day coming up after this. But first, we have to choose who left the strongest impression. Whichever choice you choose, we'll have a completely different scene play out with... It's fully voiced, so you won't have to listen to me quote-unquote voice acting them. But I will be showing off all of these. I'll probably upload them as a... I'll upload them tomorrow, I think, is probably my plan. So I'll have this, so... maybe later today, I don't know. But I will just have a video that is just these scenes. I'm sure there are other ones out there that are just these scenes, but... oh well. I want to add them into my series, but it won't... I'll still have the normal episode 52 coming on tomorrow. That video that's just these scenes won't interrupt with the uploading schedule, but I will show all of these off. For completing these, you will get 600 link experience with whoever it is that you choose. This is not insignificant. That is more than a bonding event. So you just get a free good chunk of experience with them. However, I'm not really too concerned about that link experience. I'm more concerned about the story behind it, because what we're going to do in canon is we're going to choose Elisa. I have been a big fan of the Reno and Elisa ship. It's the one I personally approve of. Of course, not the other ones are bad. But I think that, I don't know, it's a cute relationship. I like it. But we will be going through all of these in a separate video. I will include the Elise one in that video as well. I'll just probably go down the list, but that'll be fine. Anyways, I think Elisa left the strongest impression on Reen. I think it would have to be Elisa. She blamed herself more than anyone about how we parted ways in Trista. I could see how worried she was for me. Maybe now I'm sure she's worried about her mother and the Rhineford Company. But she's still putting everyone else first, just like she always does. She did all she could to bring us together again.
Reen, are you there?
Elisa! I didn't think anyone else would come here so late at night. Sorry, I'll get out now.
There's no need to shout. I actually already knew that you were here. I'd asked the manager beforehand. So I thought now might be a good time to talk with you.
Pardon?
There's really nothing like a warm bath on a cold winter's day. Gazing up at the night sky, feeling the warmth of the spring coursing through your whole body, this is such bliss.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's my favorite time of year to relax in the springs, too. But both of us bathing in here together is really, really not a good idea. Doesn't it bother you even a little? The two of us here alone feels kind of... I don't know.
What's the big deal? I'm covered up, aren't I? I'd appreciate it if you didn't stare so hard, though. I might have managed to pluck up the courage to come in here, but it's still kind of embarrassing.
Well... I wasn't doing it on purpose. Sorry. But what made you need to pluck up the courage to come in here to begin with? You said you wanted to talk. Anything in particular?
Well, I just wanted to thank you.
Thank me? Thank me for what? I don't feel like I've done anything that warrants being thanked.
You have, though. And for everything, really. I wanted to thank you for surviving all this time so that we could meet again. And I wanted to thank you for coming all the way to Nord to get me. Maybe we can't be here with Crow, but because of you, the rest of us are back together again.
Because of me? That's not true. Besides, it was only because of you guys that I was able to do anything at all.
I knew you'd say that. Still, I feel like Class 7 is what it is because you're at its center. We had faith that you get back up on your feet and fight, and it's because you followed through that we've come this far. I'm not the only one who feels that way either. So, thank you, Reen. Oh, come on! Knock it off with the laughing! It wasn't easy to come here and say all of this, you know.
I'm sorry. I wasn't laughing at you. It just finally hit home that everything Elise said was true. I had no idea that everyone was thinking of me as much as they were, or that so many people were looking out for me. It just made me realize all over again how blind I've been all this time. So I couldn't help but laugh at myself.
Well, I can accept that. And now that you know, I don't want you to ever forget it. We've been through so much together, Reen. We have a bond so strong, nothing can ever break it.
Don't worry. I won't forget. And now that Class 7 is together again, I'm sure we'll be able to go back to the Academy one day. As long as we don't give up, I know we can make that a reality. So, let's give it everything we've got.
Of course.
It's a very short scene, but it's one I like a lot. With this, we'll get an autothelis for people, for if Elisa is linked with Reen, which is, like, really good. And also cover is fine, I guess. Okay, our meeting in the Phoenix Wings cafeteria isn't until this afternoon, which means we've got plenty of time to figure out what we can do beforehand. Maybe it'd help to ask the others about what's on their minds, too. Yeah, sounds like a plan. This is a bit of a unique free day, because Laura, Emma, Eustace, and Sarah have 2 bonding events that can be viewed. Again, this is not something that you'll really ever have to worry about again, but it does mean that we have a lot of bonding points. 7, in fact. However, if you're looking for 100% completion, you really only have 1 free, because there are 6 of them that are from this, and the 7th one is not required for 100% completion, but it is still one that gets you something a little bit unique. We will be getting to those at a later point, however, because first things first, I want to go over and do some snowboarding. Of course, new day means new course, the A3 course. And this one is actually kind of tough. because, well, this one we only have one flag that we can miss.
Ha!
And we're fairly tight on time for it. Not incredibly so,
Ha!
but... Oh, well, there goes our one flag that we missed. I did not see that until it was too late. So... Okay, that might be a problem. I think we're fine if we hit one item, if we hit one barricade.
Ha!
Maybe. Oh, well, now we're almost definitely not fine. We'll be close. Are you kidding me? 12 hundredths too late.
It wasn't so great.
Really, those first two, the A1 and A2, those are very much baby mode. After this, all of the snowboarding can actually be a little bit difficult. Not tremendously so, but you can fail a few times. Also, I always recommend not doing turbo mode when you're snowboarding. It becomes a little bit too difficult to manage if you are on turbo. Even though we can miss one, it is a good idea to at least train yourself to grab all of them, because the final course will require you to get each one. I don't know how to avoid that one, but we're fine. We only ran into one item, so we should be good with a second to spare. Second and a half. It's fine.
I did it!
New record! And I am glad to finish that one off. Nice work. That there was an expert level course, too. Well, here's Brian. Go ahead and take it. Oh, and take this, too. It's a new board that got real popular among the youngsters. We can now change our board. I'll be sure to keep the course well maintained. Feel like more needs come on by. Again, it is, as it said in there, I did skip through it pretty quickly. It is just aesthetic. Passion lightings, pretty decent for physical people, so it is nice on, like, Laura, for example. But nothing that's really, like, too super necessary. Yeah, we have time to do that. Well, but do I want to? There is a hidden quest here, but I don't know if I want to do that quite yet. Because I mean, just for thumbnail purposes, I kind of want to have the, for thumbnail purposes, I want to have the hidden quest be in a different episode. I saw young used to spend at the store not long ago. He's such a handsome young man, isn't he? He can spend as long as he likes out there, if you ask me. It's good to see all your other classmates back, too. Well, I still feel like someone's missing. I'm not imagining things. So I won't be gone for long, though. We'll bring him back. On that note, that is something I do want to bring up. I mentioned before how I wasn't sure if that was just something off-screen. It is something off-screen. Basically, in the, I believe it was the epilogue of Cold Steel 1, it was planned to have the class come and visit Ymir. The entire class would go, but that ended up being cut. So it is something that still just happens off-screen in terms of what we see, but there is still a little bit of data in Cold Steel 1 to show off Ymir. Again, it was just planned for everyone to go out there. Right now, related to the hidden quest, Annabelle is unavailable, but I will not be doing that quite yet, because again, thumbnail purposes. And it also just gives me a free episode. Nothing new there. Just a quick check through. I need to find something to do during this, because I don't actually know. Yeah, you know what, It's really difficult to figure out how to... You know what, I can start by talking to people. That'll be fine. Well, I'll tell you, conditions proven has no doubt caused hearts to perk up as well. It's really loads of mess right daily day. Maybe I'm sure to keep them well brushed when old tails ready to ride them again. True. He's really taking to Fee. But I thought Fee was a cat. This is I'm being clickbaited right here. It's ludicrous. Actually, I believe there is... Okay, never mind. We're meeting with their classmates today, yes? Yeah, there's a few things you need to cover before going forward. Plus, we need to talk about Lisa and the princess, too. The determination you guys is so like your father's. No matter what path you choose to follow, always know that you have our support. Just remember to take care of yourself, alright? I will, I promise. Just love... I love the relationship between Rian and his family. And also, well, between Rian and a lot of people, honestly. His recovery is coming along nicely, but the battle isn't over yet. He still needs to rest as much as he can. There's no medicine more effective than time. Father Bernard's always so dependable when it comes to medical care. I feel like I'm back to my old self again, which means it's about time I got out of bed and returned to business as usual. I strongly advise against that. You still need rest. While I'm sure you're feeling out of shape from all the bed rest, I'd also advise against going out hunting. When can I go out hunting again? These were great, so we could have lost you. Peace of mind, I'd like you to keep an eye on your condition for another week. A whole week? Well, if we must. Cash from Heaven is still as strong as ever, I see. Another thing I actually want to bring up, the guest party members, as they refer to, Sharon, Toval, and Clay. It is important to have at least one of them at rank 3 in your link. You can check that through the link menu. And if we go on to switch pages, you see all of them. It's important to have rank 3 because in a little bit they will be leaving the party, and if you have someone at least rank 3, then whoever is the highest between them will also grant you a free accessory. And they are actually pretty decent. So I will just go over those now, because again, I am kind of stretching for things to do. For Sharon, if you have her at rank 3, which we will be getting, because 1, it's the best accessory, and 2, one of our bonding events will be with Sharon. That is one of the character note upgrades. She gives you the she gives you the Black Virtue accessories, which gives a 90% chance to cancel arts or crafts. To cancel arts when you use an attack or craft, which is amazing. You also do get a little bit of delay with it as well. For Claire, you'll get the Cerulean Heart, which will give you a 100% more accuracy and a 10% more critical rate. This is actually pretty nice, especially on someone like a Laura. So that is something, again, very nice. A lot of crits, a lot of damage, lots of hitting. As for Toval, he gives you the Quick Caliber S. He already has the Quick Caliber, which lowers his arts time. This will do the same for you. This one is... I mean, all these are still very good, but I think that's just the order of usefulness. Toval's is pretty nice, but it's really only useful on, like, Emma. Emma and Elliot are kind of the main people who use it. Again, Eustace technically can, but not really. As for Sarah, she becomes a more permanent party member, so she does not have an accessory coming up. Another thing I recommend you do is to de-equip all of your guest party members. Again, after this point, we will not have access to them, so might as well just de-equip them now. Sarah is fine to have still equipped. Another thing I recommend is before going on to have information on Reen. Information, Dragon Vision, Detection, Information, Dragon Vision, well, okay. Have a way to analyze on Reen. They're coming up in a little bit. We will have a point where Reen is our only party member, and there are still enemies that you can examine. And again, it'll be your only party member. Your allies do not automatically de-equip. However, don't worry about any of these 3. And honestly, you don't even have to worry about Sarah for a little bit. Oh, that's another thing. I forgot to go into those 2. Right. I'm forgetting things all over the place. Eustace! Eustace is a mixed attacker, and he is... I'm not the biggest fan of Eustace. Again, you can see he does have some pretty nice all-around stats, but I just prefer having someone more focused. He does have some nice utility, but let's start off with his S-Craft, which is Crystal Saber. It's fine. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Rapid Thrust, 2, Delay, Unbalance, meh. It's pretty cheap, though. It's only about 20 CP, I believe. Runeblade is a lot nicer. It does lower the enemy's arch defense, which is pretty decent as well. Noble Command is a pretty big offensive buff. This is actually pretty nice. I do like buffing the party, and Noble Command is pretty good as well. Use this in conjunction with like a Motivate. You can do quite good in that. Treasure Sword, chance to seal, chance to freeze. Anything you can have that can inflict seal is going to be good. Again, most enemies will be heavily neutered by seal, so that's very nice. As for Eustace's Master Quartz, he starts off with Mistral, which starts him off with an arch strength bonus. It also allows him to have a chance to do critical damage with his offensive arts, which is a lot nicer, but I'm still not the biggest fan of Mistral. Arch strength raised is not as useful, just because, at least in my opinion, because I don't really use the arch strength playstyle more. This can be good on someone like Emma, but again, I don't think Eustace uses it that well. He's just in a weird spot. While we're in the Master Quartz, well, let's check out Sarah, who has Thor. On the other side of the spectrum from Mistral, Thor is really nice. You have a chance to restore HP and EP when attacking. This is really good. Again, it's not reliable. Don't, use this to have Sarah be a tank, even though she can do pretty decent with evasion tanking. Not as good as Fee, not as good as Sharon, but she can do quite well as well. But anytime that you can get EP regen, that's going to be good. As for Sarah herself, she also is a mixed attacker and is just better than Eustace in every way. Her S-Craft is Plasma Storm. Hits everyone. Almost guaranteed chance to faint. A lot stronger. This is fantastic. Sarah is really good as a party member, and she not as good at arts as Eustace, but she's good enough that it's not really that big of a deal. And again, she's just, main thing, she's a lot quicker. Eustace is kind of on the slow side. That is another thing about him. He's fairly slow, while Sarah is pretty fast. Thundering Roar, chance to seal, already amazing. Also chance to lower speed, that means that the seal will last longer. That means that enemies, even if they can attack, will be able to attack less often. Fantastic. Chance of unbalance is fine as well, but not really something you need to worry about. Lightning Charge buffs herself up. This is basically the Radiant Wings. I always forget what it's called. Yeah, Radiant Wings. It's Radiant Wings, but better. No debuff, plus speed. That's already amazing. Insight, fantastic. Lightning Charge, very nice. Flash is pretty good as well. I like the air. Well, I mean, it does good damage. Chance of seal, delays. It's pretty good, but Sarah really just a powerhouse in her own right. It took me a while, but I did eventually find stuff to talk about, so I could, again, thumbnail purposes, and also dedicating most of an entire episode to the hidden quest. I don't think it'll take the whole episode, but whatever. Don't worry about it. But that will do it for this time. So, next time, we'll be doing that hidden quest. But until then, see you guys later.